How I make some hot sauce. Now I've got a jug right here that I've had brewing. This is in a salt brine. It's been in there for about 3, 4 weeks, probably a month. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mix it up, but I'm gonna make another batch. I've got this empty. This is a vinegar, same thing as this apple cider vinegar here. And I use a little bit of that in my hot sauce. This a little bit of preservative, which you'll have salt brine, so all that'll help preserve this. But I was going to show you a little bit about how I go about. And I need a phone, you need a blender, you need some salt, and I've got a couple of empty old hot sauce bottles. I'll take the labels off so that I don't mix them up, but you can tell the difference between that and the hot sauce you buy. But I got my big cutting board out here, and I'm going to cut these bigger peppers up into smaller pieces, just for the being able to get them into the mouth of this jug, because you're going to seal this up. And so basically what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cram as many peppers as I can. Now this right here was a bell pepper. I want this hot. You can use about whatever peppers you like. Different peppers is going to have different flavors. But you look right here. I've got a couple of more bell peppers. I've got mostly cayenne, and this is ghost pepper. Now the other one that I made here had a lot of scorpion trinidadians in there. Most of this is ghost pepper. This is going to be hot sauce. If they'll fit in there, I normally just poke the whole thing in there. But to extract a little more of and it's probably better to cut the stems off. If you'll cut them in half, it will help the liquids and stuff in there. And I want you to notice that whenever when you cut one of these open normally, especially in the morning like this, there is a little bit of liquid in there. Now I'm going to give you a very smart piece of advice right here. Don't rub your eyes while you're doing this. Okay? So we're going to get these all processed up and get them in a jug. And I'll get back with you in just a moment and show you what the next step is. Okay, guys, we got all of our peppers and stems cut off and in there. I did want to mention one thing that I didn't earlier, and that is wash your peppers. A lot of times I take things to be common sense and just assume that you haven't, know that you need to wash your peppers, but I do realize that nowadays common sense is not so common. So you kind of have to tell people, don't drink battery acid and don't do things like that. So anyway, that being said, get my towel here. I'm going to wipe some of this stuff off right on off in the floor. But okay, and I did forget a couple of ingredients that I've got to have before I do this. But right here, I've got me a little phone, and what I'm gonna do is I'm not much on measuring things, so I just kind of go. But you want about a good cupful of salt. I mean, you don't want to skimp on the salt, because that's gonna be your preservative, and you will use a little of this juice and this brine when you go to make your hot sauce. I'll show you that here in just a little bit. But now I'm just using regular canning salt, table salt to be fine. It don't have to be anything fancy. And now I done got this clumped up. I think it got damp. Yep. We're gonna have to get us something, and I have a steel rod right here that is pretty clean. I'm gonna wipe it off good with my clean rag, and clean that out for that. I'm outside in my shed. I didn't want to do this in the house with these really hot peppers. And my son happened to touch something because they're very hot. It could be very painful for him, so keep that kind of stuff in mind. If you've got little ones in the house, you may not want to do this inside. Now I've got a good bit of that. I'm going to add this. And the one thing that I have got to go back in and get that I splashed that out on my hand. Okay. I've got about give or take about a cup full of this in there. It don't take a whole lot, but you do want it. It's a good preservative. It and the salt together will preserve this. Now what we do is we'll finish filling this up the rest of the way with water. So what I'm going to do is use my, let's see. I've got a measuring cup here, and I'm going to run some water out of the sink. You may want to use distilled water depending on where you're at. Here out in the county, we have good water here. So I drink this water. I make sweet tea out of this water. I'm not afraid to use this water. But now this cup that I'm using does not have a spigot on it. It wants to run back. I can't use that. Let me just run it in here out of the faucet. Okay, this stuff's strong. With all this coronavirus going around, I might need to take me a bite of one of these right here. Fall of the year, it seems to be exploding, which I fully expected. I'm ready for everybody to get the mess, be done with it, get it over with. Go on about life. It's a virus, you're not going to hide from it forever. But that's enough about that. Oh. I'm going to go through these. I'm going to cut them up a little bit, but all of them that I can find, see, some of them, they're not no good. So just rake that to the side. We're just peeling down and getting the chaff and stuff out of this because we'll blend everything that's solid in here. And I don't really like them little coarse pieces in it. It's kind of preference. I don't think it'll actually hurt anything. Okay, the rest of that's garbage. I got a sack right here that I'm putting my stems and stuff in, so. See how I went about that. Okay, caught every bit of it. Then blowed it out when I tightened the sack up. But it's alright out here. I can make a mess in this floor. I'll take the blower and blow everything out the door. That's the easiest way to clean this mess up. This pottery dust gets everywhere in here, and if everything in here looks white, that's why. When you're handling pottery, and this is the shed I do all my make pottery in, that clay gets on your hands, you'll figure out everything you touch turns white. You got to go through cleaning. And it's turned off cold, and I think every fly in the county has tried to come in my warm building because I kept a heater going in here overnight, and because of the clay can freeze. If it freezes, it loses its expandability. But okay. See, they crawling around. They ain't too bad. I hate a fly. I'd rather have the mosquitoes than flies. I can't stand a fly. They nasty. If one gets on what I'm drinking, I'm through with it. I don't want, after a fly's been on it, I'm done with it. I ain't gonna drink it. Some people, they'll keep on. I can't do that. My mind won't let me. Okay, we're gonna put all of our pieces in there. Put that lid on there, and what we'll do is we're gonna shake this around good, mix it up good, and we're gonna put this and we're gonna let it set for about a month. They say 2 weeks is good. I like for mine to ferment good, so that's what you're doing. This is a fermenting process. So this salt brine, we got the salt in there. We want to make sure that's shook up because you could have put the salt in on bottom, put it first. A lot of this is not real important in which way you do it, but the general principle is you want some vinegar, you want some salt, and your water and your garlic in there, and that's your flavoring and all whatever peppers you like. Okay, we're gonna set this to the side. We're gonna get our jug that we've had brine, and you see how dark. I hold it in front of that light. See how dark that liquid's gotten. Now we will be using some of that. What we're gonna do with this jar is we're gonna start pouring the liquid out of this. Let me turn where you can see what we're doing. And that's not all of it, but that's a good bit of it. I'm set this to the side. We may need it, we may not need it. Oh. Alright. This is what hurts my feelings. When you ruin a good jug. I use these for all kinds of things. People laugh at me because I save these milk jugs and orange juice jugs and stuff. And this big knife, I can't cut it as clean, but I'm gonna throw it away. I got plenty. But you've seen me growing plants in them and different things. I have several uses for them. Okay, we're gonna set our blender right there. I'm left-handed, so I'm gonna have to pour it this way. I need to get some more of that juice out. I have got to find another container. I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pour it in this other jug I have over here. All right. That may be a little bit too much. I wanted some. You want some in your stuff to thin it. So. Otherwise it'll be way too thick. Okay. I'm gonna pour some of the juice back in there. Because we're gonna do 2 blendings right here. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead. Now these are just canned tomatoes. If you don't have homemade canned tomatoes, go to my video on my playlist. I have a how to can tomatoes. You need to watch that. Okay. And I'm gonna put the lids back on everything just simply because there's a few more flies than I like out here today. Okay, now all we're gonna do is start blending. That blended up real good. So now I have room, and I'm not going to add any more liquid. I'm going to strain the rest of that liquid off. I don't need it. Now that liquid might make you some good pepper sauce. You see this, I left the stems on a good many of them. They don't really hurt anything, but I was going to make 2 separate batches, 2 different ways, just to see what the difference was. you may want to use rubber gloves while you're doing this. Personal preference, I can wash my hands pretty well and be all right. Okay, I got that blended up pretty well. Now we're going to add pineapples. We're going to put some of the juice, and then we're going to start adding pineapples. And I'm going to cut them in some pieces right here as I put them in. It's easier just to pull it apart, I believe. And I had this light on. I'm gonna cut it off so it ain't blinding y'all. I think there's enough light coming in the door for you to see what's going on here. All right. Now we're just gonna leave that funnel in there, set that back to the side over here. And what I'll do is I'll put me a little to carry in the house and these, and then I'll just store it in this jug. What I'm doing, in case you're wondering. Add a little more tomato juice in this. Now we're gonna dump all of our pineapples in this one, just for the sake of we want to make sure they're all in there. And then we're gonna go to adding all our peppers. Whoa! Look at them ghost peppers. Look how red and pretty them things are now after they've soaked in that. They're really pretty. I like ghost peppers. I really like habaneros. Habaneros so far that I have done have had the best flavor, but I like these, so I'm doing this year. Okay, that come down, blended down. We've got a little more room. See if we can fit the rest of our peppers in there. All right, that's all of our peppers. Let's throw that jug there away. All right, we're gonna pour this now into our big jug, and I may pour out of it into these little ones as I get ready to do this. I don't know exactly how I'm gonna get it in there. We gotta blend that some more. Some of them peppers is still whole. Let's make sure we get it all blended well. I'm tempted to taste of that. Let's see what it tastes like. It's got some heat to it now. Woo! I may have to cut the video short now. It definitely opens your sinuses up. But man, it's got a good flavor. You probably couldn't hear me. I said it does have a good flavor. Really does. Raise you back up so you can watch me pour here. Now that splattering a little bit. Don't let that splatter in your eyes. You may want to put you some glasses on or something. I kind of do everything the hard way. Just kind of the way I do things. Okay. Now that's pretty thick. I'm going to do one thing right here. I'm going to put the rest of my tomato juice in there. And I'm going to blend it so that it kind of washes this out. And I'm going to add the rest of that tomato juice to it. See, that's a little trick. You do this last, and it'll kind of rinse everything down in there, and you don't lose nothing. And you'll lose a little bit, but not near as much. Okay. Now right here, just because I like my hot sauce a little thinner, I'm going to add a little more of this liquid. Okay. Because it's got heat in it. And your preservative and vinegar and stuff like that's in it. Now we had a good bit in there already, but being that I had the room for it. Okay, we're going to put all this in the sink, wash it out good. Make for sure you wash your hands good. You be in a bad state of affairs, you rub this in your eye. People is stout now. That ain't the lid that goes on there, is it? Wherefore art thou, O lid of the milk container? Yeah, it'll definitely clean your sinuses up. But now, people, that is a gallon jug of hot sauce. That'll last me probably the rest of my life. But anyway, that's how you do it if you want to learn how to do it. Now, there are some other fruits. You can mix and match things. Now, we use pineapple slices just because that was what was in the cabinet. And I did want pineapple. Mango is good. I'm sure there's a lot of other fruits you can experiment with. I really thought about experimenting with some watermelon, and I've got a couple out there, but I didn't want to ruin it. I wanted to do this, and next year I may make some with watermelon. So, anyway, thank y'all for watching. Y'all have a good one. Hit like, subscribe to this channel. We have all kind of content coming. Hunting, fishing, trapping, gardening, everything you can think of that has to do with the outdoors. So thank y'all for watching. Appreciate your support. Y'all have a good one. Remember, the best way to do stuff is the way you like to do it.